So it's been about a bit more than 24 hours since that Bears-Packers game ended, and I think it's time for me to give my thoughts. So normally I would have like game highlights playing, but honestly that game was so depressing to watch that I just can't watch. I cannot watch the highlights again. Like I going into the game, I didn't have too many high expectations for the Bears, right? They just lost four straight. They're going against the Packers, which are the division lead, and like everyone, like you probably heard it, like Aaron Rodgers' revenge tour, right? Like he was playing way better than he did last year. The whole team, as you could see that, like the whole Packers team was like clicking as a whole, and yeah, but 41 we allowed 41 points to the Packers. Like, this is like, I know the Bears defense isn't at the level that it was at in 2018, right? Like, that is an unstoppable defense. We were the best defense then, right? Like, Khalil Mack was getting sacks right and left. Kyle Fuller, Eddie Jackson were just, like they were playing on another level. And we still have most of the same defense today. Like, yeah, we didn't have Akeem Hicks due to injury. Eddie Goldman had opted out, but still, like, it's just not. It's still like a kind of the same defense, but you could tell, like, they weren't going to return to the 2018 levels. Yeah, and just like with Rob, and yeah, like one of the big stories of our defense this year was about Robert Quinn, right? Like, I think it is a 2-year, $30 million contract. Like, a bunch of fans were originally hype about it. Like, I was extremely excited about the Robert Quinn signing. Like, he was doing great with the Cowboys. I think he was coming off a year with 11 sacks, and this year he only has one. And after yesterday's game, I believe he still only has one. Yeah, and like we could have used that money to bolster our offense, right? Like, we couldn't sign a good quarterback. Like, I don't think there are any amazing quarterbacks on the market. People kept on saying the Bears should have signed Cam Newton, but really, I don't think Cam Newton would have really helped this game, would have really helped our offense or our team at all that much. Yeah, like, but I genuinely feel like that money could have gone to a proper offensive lineman. Like, I don't remember the quality of O-linemen on the market this year, but I mean, we could have thrown some of that money to just someone on the offense, right? Like, I don't know. And I guess not only, like, okay, yeah, sure, our team has some holes in it, but like, every once in a while they can have good plays. Like, right at the beginning, that, like, I think that is a second play, or on our first drive, the second play, there was that like 50-yard David Montgomery run. Like, we can still make like explosive kind of plays. The only problem is, like, it's just our coaching. Like, this has been a problem all season. Like, even when we went on that like 5-1 run, right? We would have whatever momentum we would build, Matt Nagy would just destroy it. And I know you can say, yeah, Matt Nagy's not calling the plays anymore, but like, is Bill Lazor any better? Like, he was the offensive coordinator of like the Bengals and the Browns, right? Like, these were like the terrible Bengals and Browns teams. So, well, I actually don't know if he's the offensive coordinator of the Browns, but I know for sure he was the offensive coordinator of the Bengals. Like, these were the ones that like people would make fun of the people would just make fun of the quality of these teams. I don't know. I mean, it's just I've been holding out hope for Matt Nagy and our coaching staff as long as possible. Like, at the beginning of the year, like, the moment we got our first loss, people were like, yeah, fire Nagy. Like, when we lost to the Colts, people immediately were like, fire Nagy. And I'm like, I don't think we should be firing Nagy, because, he was the offensive coordinator when Patrick Mahomes had his breakout year. I guess that is his rookie year, right? Yeah. But like, he was the offensive coordinator there, so he must have had some part in developing Patrick Mahomes into what he became, right? But like, now I'm done. Like, just fire Matt Nagy. Like, he's a terrible head coach. I don't know who we can hire as a replacement for him. I'm not sure about like what the coaching staff is going to be like this year. People are saying that Bieniemy, the now offensive coordinator for the Chiefs, would be a good coach, but honestly, like, judging by the last Chiefs offensive coordinator who went on to become a head coach, I seriously doubt that's going to be a good idea. Like, it's just going to be like the Belichick effect, like, where everyone starts hiring Belichick assistants and then they end up flopping outside, except for Brian Flores. Like, the Dolphins are doing great. I enjoy watching the Dolphins this year. But, yeah, like, I don't know. It's like, you just saw Matt Patricia got fired for going like insane record, like 19 wins and like 60 losses or something. And I just also want to talk about like Matt Nagy's post-game comments, right? Like he the first thing he did was go ahead and blame the defense. Like, I do not blame the defense at all in this scenario, okay? Like, the defense has been carrying Mitch Trubisky and the offense's backs for like ages now, like since 2018. The only reason like our team was so dominant in 2018 is because our defense would get those stops, those strip sacks, and convert them to touchdowns, right? So our offense didn't really see the field that much, because like generally, like I remember like that first game, or that first Packers game in 2018, Khalil Mack strip sacked Aaron Rodgers, and then he returned it for a touchdown. Yeah, like it's not like the offense really saw the ball that much, and even when they did, like I still see Bears fans talk about like Mitch Trubisky threw 6 touchdowns, like that was 2 years ago now, and against like a terrible Buccaneers team. Like that, people are underestimating or overestimating. People are overestimating how truly or how people are making that team to be better than they actually were. Like, they were a terrible team. Like, sure, 6 touchdowns is special, but like, come on, like you eventually have to just realize like it's just not. It's not an excuse. It's like you can't hold on to 2 years ago. Like, all right, and then also like people are blaming, and then of course like I'm one of the fans who like absolutely hate Cody Parkey, right? Like that still like boils my blood when I think about it, the double doink. But like people fail to forget that like our offense was already slowing down even before the double doink. Like our offense was like showing signs of what it became in 2019. Like that, like not even like way below average, right? Like, I don't know. And also Mitchell Trubisky, I'm still like on that Mitchell train, if you remember from the beginning of the season. He's just, I just lost all faith in him as well. Like him and Matt Nagy, like I was holding out hope for ages. Like I thought like, oh, Mitchell Trubisky, he's he's just having confidence issues. You remember how he played in 2018? He did so good in 2018, but yeah, I'm off that train now. Like, it's not his confidence issues. He's just not a good quarterback. Mitchell Trubisky is exactly who we thought he was when he was drafted. Maybe, yes, he's a good leader. Like you see those videos of him like hyping the defense or hyping the whole Bears team up. There's one on the Bears Twitter, literally from yesterday for the game, from the Packers game. But yeah, he's a good leader. But eventually, like, leadership qualities don't really matter when you're not a good quarterback. Remember, this is the team who passed on we passed on Deshaun Watson. We didn't even give him an interview. Like, I remember, yeah, they didn't give him like a proper interview. They didn't work him out, or I think they just attended the combine to see him. They didn't like give him private workout or anything like you would do if you're thinking of drafting someone. All they did was just like give him a phone call, and that's it. Like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, I understand why the Bears didn't draft Patrick Mahomes, right? Like, there are a bunch of tweets you can find, like people saying like, oh, the Chiefs I think the Chiefs traded up, or like the Chiefs picked Patrick Mahomes with the 15th pick, so they wasted their 15th pick on a bench player. Like, he was not that well known when he was drafted, right? Like, obviously the Chiefs saw something in him, and like, good thing they did, because like they won the Super Bowl with him. But like, I understand why the Bears didn't draft Patrick Mahomes, but the fact that they didn't draft Deshaun Watson, like, even I wasn't that big on like college football like prospects then, right? But like, even I knew that Deshaun Watson was the best option, or the best draft pick we could have gotten. Like, I genuinely thought we traded up. Like, I genuinely thought we traded up to get Deshaun Watson, right? When I said Mitchell Trubisky, like, I was in shock. Like, I don't know what this rant became, but like, it's just a bunch of stuff that I've been thinking of since the Packers game. Like, I think this game is like finally showing like the whole NFL like what we really are. Hopefully, the fact that it's played on prime time maybe like get some fans from outside, like to call for Matt Nagy to be fired. Like what's happening with the Jets, or what happened with the Lions before Matt Patricia got fired. Also, how does Adam Gase still have a job? That's unrelated, but like, they're 0-12 now, 0-11, and Adam Gase still has a job. I don't get it. But yeah, like, hopefully, because the Bears are definitely not making the playoffs this year. Let's just admit it. Hopefully, the game, or that like I'm not even calling that. It's a terrible showing. Like, the Bears were not even trying after like halftime. Hopefully that game was like, will put some pressure on Matt Nagy. And if we don't win next week to the Lions, I will like full on be like posting a 10-minute rant about how Matt Nagy should be fired, like full on meatball, or not meatball, I guess, but like, just yelling into the microphone. I'll be mad. So hopefully I'll see you next week with a happier tone, but